Rethinking childcare access in Texas, a look at some of the proposals one group wants state lawmakers to implement.
Temperatures are cooling now that our first cold front is moving out. Just wait till our second front and the rain that it could come with. I'll show you that in First Warning Weather.
And President-elect Donald Trump is adding more names to key positions in his upcoming administration. And tonight we're hearing from his border czars focus on Mexico's cartels.
First, though, we're learning more about the breaking news we first brought you on KXAN News at 6 o'clock after a body was found in South Austin earlier tonight.
Austin police say a man stabbed another man at a gas station on South 1st Street near Ditmar Road, just south of William Cannon Drive. Officers found the man bleeding in the parking lot, adding he later died at the hospital. APD says they detained a person of interest who was found at another gas station across the street. It's unknown if the two men knew each other.
Finding money to expand the capacity of child care centers in Texas, that's a priority for the Employers for Child Care Task Force.
The Business Coalition announced its priorities for the next legislative session starting in January. KXAN's Sarah Alsheh explains what's top of mind.
Nearly 70 businesses, local chambers, and associations want to help make childcare more accessible for working families in Texas. The Employers for Childcare Task Force created this blueprint, laying out its priorities for the 89th Texas legislature.
We heard from business leaders in our networks that they really wanted a more active role in thinking through solutions for improving access to childcare.
This upcoming session, the group plans to push for both immediate improvements and more long-term sustainable changes. At the top of the list, legislation to make it easier for employers of all sizes to, quote, innovate and help their employees find affordable, quality childcare.
Make it a priority to have information, resources, best practices, toolkits, examples that employers could use to access childcare for their employees.
Another part of the proposal, create a new childcare innovation pilot program. This would match centers with specific needs.
For example, hey, we know that in this area of our community, there is not nearly enough non-traditional hours care. Let's find those gaps and let's match existing high-quality providers. Let's give them a little bit of money and help them meet that need.
For some industries, such as the restaurant sector, these changes could greatly impact employees who rely on childcare.
On a daily basis, I would say the number one thing you have is call-ins, and that's due to childcare. Developing childcare for non-traditional hours would tremendously help mothers in hospitality, not to mention healthcare and other industries that have non-traditional hours worked.
Sarah Alsheh, KXAN News.
And another priority for the group is the removal of local regulatory barriers that increase costs for home-based childcare providers. The task force tells us they are already regulated extensively by the states. For a full list of their goals, just head to this story on our website over at KXAN.com.
Some state senators are focusing on increasing the state's workforce productivity by including access to child care. The lawmakers are part of the Natural Resources and Economic Development Committee and plan to meet tomorrow morning.
Now, Travis County voters gave county leaders the okay to start looking at child care options. Voters approved Prop A in last week's election. It's a property tax hike increase that would support affordable child care options for babies and school children of low-income households.
Developing news right now into the newsroom. Travis County has posted its final round of unofficial election results. However, it's still too close to call for the race for mayor of Austin. Kirk Watson still leads with just over 50% of the vote, but just barely enough to avoid a runoff with current second place candidate Carmen Yanis Polito. We also have Hays County unofficial election results in that count, which means we're only waiting now on official totals from Williamson County to call that race. Williamson County officials told us their canvass is likely scheduled for Friday. We do hope to get those election results by the end of the day Friday. President-elect Donald Trump returned to the White House today, meeting President Joe Biden. The two pledged a smooth transition. And the man President-elect Trump wants as his administration's border czar, says he agrees with Trump's idea to label the cartels in Mexico as terrorists. He made those comments tonight on News Nation's Chris Cuomo show.
Ever since I gave the speech at the RNC, I've had numerous death threats from the cartels against me and my family. And matter of fact, my family isn't with me right now because of the death threats. But, you know, President Trump has promised that he would designate them terrorist organizations. And I believe he should, and he will.
And Tom Homan is the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Two people familiar with Trump's decision told NBC News that Homan will have power over policy, including potentially mass deportations. President-elect Trump has also made some other appointment announcements, including Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. He's an Army National Guard veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's argued against women in combat roles and said the military focuses too much on diversity.
Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever, that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go.
And Democrats are pushing back, saying that Hegseth does not have the experience in running the largest department in federal government. The president-elect is also picking former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. She is a former four-term House Democrat and an Army National Guard veteran. She switched parties in 2022 and became a high-profile Trump supporter earlier this year. And she also unsuccessfully ran for president in 2020.
And President-elect Trump did not select Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to head the Justice Department, choosing Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz instead, who this evening announced his immediate resignation from Congress. Paxton was seen as a competitive candidate for the job. He's a close ally of Trump's. Still, political experts say the new Trump era provides an opportunity for other Texas lawmakers to garner more power.
A new Trump administration provides opportunities for a lot of Republicans who have been stalwart Trump fans. Wesley Hunt from Houston's a good example. Beth Van Dyne from North Texas is another good example. They're going to have a bigger role to play because they're seen as Trump loyalists.
One Texan likely to head to Washington is State Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. He was closely considered to lead the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Trump's first term. And then over on the Senate side, Texan Senator John Cornyn lost his race for Senate Majority Leader during today's secret ballot vote. Senator selected South Dakota Senator John Thune. And NBC News now projects that Republicans will maintain control of the House of Representatives by the thinnest of margins. This means Republicans will be in control of both of the House and the Senate. This could allow them to advance President-elect Trump's agenda faster, including the Senate speeding up cabinet nominee approvals.
Okay, so we had that late afternoon, early evening cold front, and now we're feeling the benefits of it. Cooling off, middle and upper 60s for most, but into the hill country, we're way down in the 50s. San Saba, Lampasas right now, all the way down to 52. That's a full 15 degrees cooler than this time yesterday for you. Even in Austin, Georgetown, about 2 to 4 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. And these numbers will continue to fall thanks to wind conditions that are much lighter than they were this time, say 3-4 hours ago when it was a bit blustery. Overnight lows getting down to 50 in Austin, but I do expect some 40s outside of the city. We'll keep showing you a cooler end to the work week ahead of rain that returns, and then things get even colder next week.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. We have video tonight of 3 men who robbed a man at gunpoint. Austin police want you to see this in the hopes that you can identify the suspects. You can see 3 men, 2 of them with ski masks and the other with a black hoodie. The suspects take the man's items and car keys. Police say the 3 men then took off with the victim's car. This happened back on August 17th at the Lakewood Apartments near I-35 and Howard Lane. If you can help, please call Austin Police.
And take a look at these photos now. Smugglers tried to hide meth inside the shipment of Serrano peppers at the Mexico-Texas border. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says one of their officers found nearly 2,000 packages weighing more than 2,100 pounds with a street value of $31 million. This happened on Sunday at a cargo facility near McAllen. Border crews seized the drugs and the tractor trailer.
Well, your next rideshare driver could be armed if you choose so. Black Wolf launched in Atlanta this last year. The company announced it plans to debut in Austin, Dallas, and Houston early next year. Its service offers armed drivers with backgrounds in law enforcement who are ex-military. The company is currently recruiting drivers with a clean record, including a federal background check and a permit to carry guns.
San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich is recovering after a mild stroke earlier this month. The basketball team made that announcement today. The 75-year-old suffered the stroke on November 2nd at the team's home arena, the Frost Bank Center. The team said Popovich is expected to make a full recovery, but they're not sure when he'll return. He has helped the team win 5 NBA championships and was the head coach for USA Basketball's men's team from 2017 to 2020, winning a gold medal in the 2020 Olympics.
We are not alone in the cosmos.
The search for transparency as lawmakers try to get answers from witnesses and the government about UFOs.
Time for the current law that's keeping Texas colleges and universities from raising tuition is running out. The governor's message to higher education leaders to keep those costs down. The cost of college is already pricing many people out, and now Governor Greg Abbott is saying he's already reached out to regents at every public university, saying no more tuition increases over the next 2 years.
KXAN education reporter Nabil Ramadna spoke with University of Texas students about this development, including some who say the prices actually need to go down.
It can be pretty expensive to get a college education these days.
Many of my friends, they're taking out loans. They're worried about student debt.
While University of Texas student Eric Espinal is on scholarship, he knows the struggles his friends face.
Would be a large burden, especially when you're already just focusing on studies and getting a job and working an internship, things like that.
Viveka is a student at UT as well.
It's like a publicly funded university. I feel like we get a lot of state funding and government funding in general, so I feel like it should definitely be lower.
On Wednesday, Governor Greg Abbott sent a letter to Texas colleges and universities saying he will not support increases for undergraduate tuition and other fee increases over the next 2 years. This is because the previous law prohibiting freezing costs over these past few years is expiring. He says the goal is to ease the financial burden on students and their families.
I think that's a great thing. I don't think tuition should raise at all. In any state. I think everything at this point in time is at an all-time high, and I don't think it should get any higher, so I'm glad he's doing that.
Abbott went on to say that he will ensure college affordability remains a top priority for the state heading into the next legislative session.
I mean, that'd be nice, but I think the goal should be to reduce tuition in general and also to actually see that happen.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
And KXAN did reach out to the University of Texas for comment on the letter and regarding tuition. We're still waiting to hear back. According to data from the University of Texas tuition page, UT tuition ranks 6th compared with other Texas public universities, with the University of Texas at Dallas being the most expensive. Congress held its second House hearing focused on unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAP.
And today, former NASA, Navy, and defense officials told lawmakers what they believe the U.S. government is keeping from Congress and the public.
This UAP issue may be the greatest issue of our time, and it's being hid from you.
Retired Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet says he has seen firsthand evidence of UAPs starting in 2015 during a naval exercise that captured video, he says, of an object. He says emails about the incident soon disappeared. A former NASA official told lawmakers that most of these unidentified objects are likely, though, drones or just experimental aircraft.
And a quick reminder now that you play a pretty big role in a friendly competition between the KXAN evening team and the morning team. Both teams are hoping to raise the most money. This is all, of course, for a very, very good cause, because the real winner here is the community who depends on the Central Texas Food Bank. So your donations go straight to the organization. And last year, it brought nearly 54 million meals to families and local nonprofits. So we made it pretty easy for you to donate. All you have to do is scan your phone on this QR code that you see on your screen right now to help the evening team raise some money. And our goal this year is to raise $150,000 between the two teams. Nick is joining us now. I have not checked, Nick. I know that you have.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
We're up over 15,000 now here for the evenings.
Okay.
But our goal on our side is 75,000. We only have 2 more weeks to go. And the Central Texas Food Bank, they estimate that 1 out of every 5 children is at risk for hunger. But every dollar you donate can supply 3 meals for children. So super important. Your money goes far in this particular cause, and it's very easy to donate. Whatever amount you can, go to KXAN.com/Friendsgiving. Just 2 more weeks to go. We got to get these numbers up if we're going to reach our goal, right? And thanks to you for getting us where we are so far. Hey, let's talk about the weather, right? That's why we're here, and we've got a cold front that has been moving through the state all day. We got it here in Central Texas during the afternoon and early evening, and right now it's dropping us into the 60s in Austin, but we've got 50s in the hill country, and we've got 40s off to the north and west of us, and some of us are going to start off the morning in the 40s. I'm looking at you in the hill country. I do expect widespread 40s for you to begin the day. Most of us along and east of 35, though, not quite. You'll be beginning your morning in the low 50s. Still plenty of sunshine tomorrow, should get us in the low 70s at midday, and then our high temperatures in the middle to even a few upper 70s here in the afternoon here tomorrow before we cool back down again tomorrow night. So we'll call it 77, sunshine aplenty here tomorrow, barely a cloud in the sky, but these temperatures still about 10, 11 degrees cooler than we were today. So you're going to notice the temperature change both in the morning and in the afternoon. We'll be a little warmer on Friday, 79, and then it's low 80s for both days of the weekend. But our nighttime lows will actually keep getting colder into Friday morning. We're expecting mid 40s in Austin in Friday morning, and you could expect temperatures outside of Austin to get down in the low 40s and even 30s. Friday morning. So that'll easily be our coldest morning of this work week. Clouds and radars completely clear. Our cold front today was a dry cold front with just a few clouds around the middle of the day. We do expect a few clouds to start drifting back in, but not until Saturday. So Thursday and Friday, completely cloudless days. And then late Sunday, most likely Sunday evening, our first opportunity for rain, and it's a low chance. But those chances go up a bit here for Monday, just ahead of a cold front. Some scattered showers and storms move through at least half of the area. Not thinking widespread rain yet, but our chances are promising here for some wet weather on Monday before the cold front clears all of that out here on Tuesday. So you can see what the rain coverage is like. It's okay, it's not great. You can see widely scattered to isolated showers there late Sunday, and then our best chance of rain with scattered showers and storms on Monday. Still, the rainfall amounts Sunday into Monday aren't that high either. Less than 1/4 inch for most of us, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch for areas northwest of the Austin metro. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. You can see those rain chances Sunday, Monday, and then our cold front comes through, but the coldest of the air with it will be somewhat delayed. So we'll go from 79 Monday to 76 on Tuesday as the sun tries to come back out. And then an extra surge of colder air will knock us down with highs only in the mid 60s next Wednesday. We first warned you about that coldest air of the season yesterday coming for the middle of next week, and it is on track for not just Wednesday, but we could stay in the 60s next Thursday, possibly even next Friday, with some very chilly nights as well.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. The UT football team is back on the road, taking on another old rival. Details on the Horns' trip to Arkansas coming up next in sports.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
He had 18 points and 11 rebounds in the season opener, but due to a hamstring injury, Longhorn super sophomore Madison Booker did not play tonight. Texas definitely missed her, but the beat went on at the Moody Center against Lamar. This evening, Texas won the first game by 72 points on Sunday. The margin didn't get that wide tonight, but it was still a dominant victory for the Longhorns. Rory Harmon with a nice turnaround jumper right there to put Texas up by 16. Final seconds of the first quarter. Brianna Preston over to Shea Holly, draining the three-pointer on the wing. Right there, 24-7 was the score after the first. Second quarter, Texas turning defense into offense on Vic Schaefer-Loves. Harmon over to Layla Felia with the layup right there. Her first basket as a Longhorn. And then Harmon over to the star freshman Jordan Lee, draining a three-pointer with a hand in her face, 45-12 at that point. Texas up. Third quarter, Longhorns up 39. Harmon contests the shot, but falls to the court, comes up hobbled, grabbing her knee. She would leave the game and not return. 8 points and 8 assists for Harmon in 16 minutes, so we wish her the best. Later in the quarter, Shea Holly draining the three-pointer. 15 points for Holly. We'll probably get an update from Vic Schaefer tomorrow on Harmon's status, but Texas rolls over Lamar 95-58. To football, Texas dominating over Florida last week, and they hope to have a similar effort against Arkansas this weekend. It won't be easy, as the Razorbacks and their fans will definitely be ready for the burnt orange. Here's Noah Gross.
In Steve Sarkisian's second ever game coaching at Texas, as Alfred Collins says, the Longhorns got their butt whooped by Arkansas on the road. Very hostile environment. Razorbacks rushed the field. Now in 2024, Texas set to go back to face Arkansas in a more renewed rivalry with both teams in the SEC. This is a rivalry that these Texas players did not necessarily grow up with. They were not born when these two teams were in the same conference. But whether it's Longhorns players that were there for that 2021 game or have just heard about it, they know everything that surrounds Texas in Arkansas.
We can look at the history if we want, but we know how we were treated the past game, so I think that's enough to get everybody going.
I was a freshman in high school watching Texas versus Arkansas, and I seen all that, so I didn't need too much. I watched it with my own eyes, so I already know what this is all about, and it's going to be a hard-fought game, and we're ready.
Our preparation now is back into getting enamored with what we need to do so that we can be the best version of ourselves Saturday. And I think Longhorn Nation deserves that. I think Arkansas deserves that because they didn't get the best version of us 4 years ago. And we need to make sure that we give them our best version this time around.
The burnt orange, takes this rivalry to heart, and I'm just excited to go play.
Texas players that were there in 2021 all had different stories about what maybe stood out to them the most about facing Arkansas and that rabid fan base. Veteran defensive back and local product Jahdae Barron talked about as soon as the team left the team hotel, he could feel it all in the air. The Arkansas fans there made it very clear how they felt about that Texas program, and now they feel much more prepared about it to the players and the Texas coaching staff as a whole. For now at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, Noah Gross, KXAN News.
And the crew's back together Saturday at 10 a.m. for our live pregame show, Texas Game Day. Join me, Alex Okafor, Dan Neal, and Noah as we get you ready for Texas at Arkansas. Join us over on KBVO. That does it for me. We're back with more after this. Keep it here.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to our generous viewers who made a donation to our Friendsgiving Challenge. Again, you can find that on KXAN.com. We hope you have a great night.